So if you've been watching all of the backing up exercises that we've done with Bob, you'll see that Bob backs up pretty well. And, essentially all a backup is your horse, moving away from pressure. So when you want to take it a step further and you want to challenge both you and your horse's training, you can actually create a bit of a yo-yo exercise where you either make your horse move away from pressure or you ask your horse to give to pressure and move toward you. So if I turn around and face Bob, and if you've watched the exercise, you've seen me do this, and now I'm just going to wiggle the rope, okay, because Bob is reasonably good at backing up, and I've asked him to take a step back. Now, there's several different ways I can go from here. I can either walk up and give Bob a pat on the head. I can take a couple of steps back and ask him to do nothing. Or I can apply pressure and ask Bob to take a step forward. So in this game or in this exercise, you can actually ask your horse to do whichever one of those things you want. Okay, so if I get Bob's attention, now I'm going to ask him to back. Okay. Now I'm going to ask him to back again because I wasn't entirely happy with his backing up effort. Now, at this moment, I can't ask for anything because he's having a bit of a lick and a chew. And now I'll get his attention and I might ask him to take one step forward off the pressure. Okay, so you can't ask for much smaller step than that. Like literally his hind foot shuffled and his front foot took a step. Okay, so now I might ask him to do that again. Take a step. Now, what would I do right now if Bob took 4 steps? Well, I'd back him up 8. I'd say that wasn't what I asked for. Okay. Now, I'm going to drop my body language, drop my energy, and walk up and give him a pat. Okay. That's pretty cool. And now I'm going to keep my body low, quiet, calm, and I'm going to step away. Okay. Now I might look at him and ask him to take a step. So the key is here, anytime I look at him, I'm going to ask him to do something, okay? So if I look at him, I'm going to ask him to take a step back, okay? If I'm still looking at him, I'm going to ask him to take a step forward. Now, I'm not going to look at him, I'm going to relax, I'm just going to walk up. So nothing about my body language is telling him at this moment to move his feet. And again, I'm going to step away. Nothing about my body language is telling him to move his feet, but he went to. Okay, the temptation got too strong. So I'm going to tell him that was not what I was asking for, and I'm going to make him step back. Now I'm going to ask him to step to me. 1 step. Okay, I might ask him to step to me again because he's a long way away from me now. Good. Nuh-uh, not that far. You see he rocked forward and went to keep coming toward me? That's what I don't want. Now I'm going to take a step away. I want him to stay grounded. I want him to stay where he is because nothing has said move your feet at this moment. But if I pick up on that rope and look at him and apply pressure, I expect him to step forward until I release that pressure. So if I ask him to step forward, there, okay? Do you see then, as soon as I drop the pressure, he actually stepped back to balance his feet up. Okay. Now he's a little disengaged by this. Okay, you can see he's sort of looking away. He's had enough. He's figured that his time in front of the camera is about done for the day, and it's been a little different. Like you have to remember that when I'm training my horses, I'm training them and I'm working on them and stuff's going on. And when we go and do things like shooting videos, well, suddenly, there's a whole different process, and I might spend time doing nothing and then I spend time doing stuff. So he's going to be a little uncertain about this, and that's okay. He's going to get a little where he goes, I've had enough of this. Well, what that shows me is it shows me there's some holes in his training that I need to go and address. It shows me that I need to spend a bit more time with him building his confidence in what's going on, because that there now is showing me that he's not real engaged in the process. Now while I've been talking, I've just been playing with him. Okay, just ask him to step forward, ask him to step back, ask him to do nothing. Okay, the ask him to do nothing is probably his most favourite part. So anytime I ask, he should step, okay? Anytime. Now I'm getting a little faster. You can see here now I'm starting to make things happen a little faster just because, I wanted things to step along a little bit with him. It's not the first time he's done this exercise. So I expect him to be able to handle it a little bit. But if you ever needed to test how good you've got your horse going with backing up in personal space, this is an awesome exercise to use, So you have 4 things that you can do, okay? And this is what you need to remember, and they don't need to be in any order, okay? You can ask your horse to step forward and step off the pressure. You can ask your horse to back up and move away from pressure. You can ask your horse to stand still while you walk up toward him. You can ask your horse to stand still while you step away. They're the 4 parts of the exercise. And then you just play with them however you want to get your horse's attention. It's an exercise that goes on and it leads into another exercise, which I call the focus exercise. But it's important that you've got the 4 basic elements of the yo-yo exercise established before you start working on the focus exercise with your horse.